But will it be very different to last year, with prices in some of our cities going down, not up? In Sydney, the market is in its worst slump in almost a decade, and in Melbourne, prices are falling even faster.
Now, while the markets in Perth, Adelaide and Brisbane have seen moderate rises this year, Hobart has been the star performer, rising by 10%. Now, the question on everyone's lips, of course, is where to next with property prices and bank interest rates?
Joining us now are Graham Cook from Finder.com.au and property economist Dr. Andrew Wilson in Melbourne. Good morning to you both. Firstly to you, Graham. You've surveyed Australia's leading economists on what's likely to happen with property prices. Tell us, what are they saying?
So indeed, we do a survey of Australian economists. We've been doing it for the last 3 years, and we've increased the number of respondents from 20 to 40. So there's quite a lot of experts on the panel here. And what we actually asked them about is not property prices, but the RBA cash rate. So this is the rate that will change as decided by the RBA and will determine the interest that you pay on your mortgage. And as you may know, this has not really changed in the last 2 years. 25 months actually, it's sat at 1.5% without moving. But we asked economists, when it does move, what direction do you think it's going to go, and when do you expect that to happen? And over the last 2 years, the date when they expect that to happen has pushed forward and forward even more. So we're now not expecting the RBA to lift rates until at least the middle of next year, according to the survey. And most economists are expecting the rate to go up.
Okay, well, Andrew, you're one of the economists that has been surveyed. You also believe it's going to go up. When would you put it at?
Well, I think it's very hard to tell, Monique. We're seeing a very mixed environment in terms of our economy. Incomes growth is still low. We had some sobering data out during the week that showed that households are working into their savings at the highest rate, or the savings ratio is at the lowest rate in over 10 years. So even though consumption was up, people are spending out of their savings because income growth is low. And of course, the Reserve Bank is waiting to see incomes increase, and until there are some signs, some outcomes of higher incomes, they're not going to be moving interest rates anytime soon.
Graham, for people entering the housing market, we know about honeymoon rates being offered by some of the banks. What do the economists think about taking up the honeymoon rates and what damage they can do further down the track once the rate disappears?
So yeah, this was a question we asked this month, whether honeymoon rates are a good idea. So these are rates with a home loan where you get charged a lower interest rate for a certain period of time, maybe a couple of years, and then it goes up after that. And they were fairly divided, to be honest. 40% said they were a good thing and 40% said they were a bad thing. If you're going to go for one of these deals with a home loan honeymoon rate, you need to make sure, obviously, that you can pay the higher rate once you finish the trial period on the home loan. But not only that, because our economists are saying the rate is going to go north, and it's going to go north potentially next year, you need to add an even bigger buffer in on top of that, and potentially maybe 1% above what you expect the rate to fall back to. You need to be able to afford that before you get on the ladder with one of these loans.
Okay, well, Andrew, we know for the last few years the topic of conversation at barbecues everywhere were housing prices and how outrageous they were, and everyone was outrageousing each other with how much the local garden shed had gone for. Is the conversation now going to turn for, you won't believe how low the prices are going?
No, I don't think so. I think they have to find something else to talk about, because it's probably going to be pretty boring with prices moving largely sideways. I think we'll have higher prices in spring and autumn and lower prices in winter and summer. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of difference between the growth levels of the capital city markets. We're seeing that now, a real convergence, and it's going to be a very boring conversation going forward. It'll be just about individual circumstances.
We'll talk about how annoying husbands are, or something.
Andrew, what about a change of government? Could that knock things out of whack and cause different market forces?
Look, we've got some policies potentially from the Labor Party, Basil, with negative gearing changes. I'm not sure they'll implement that, given that the market has changed over the past 12 months. The conversation isn't so much about affordability now, with prices certainly easing, and we've seen a lot more first-home buyers back into the marketplace. In fact, first-home buyer numbers are surging now, so a lot more Australians are realising the great Australian dream. So I think largely the property market will not be really a subject for policymakers, even with a change change of government.
Right, okay, just before we let you go, Andrew, we talked about first home buyers
Yes.
there. What about people who are looking to sell their houses? Would you suggest to hold on, or we're just going to stay around that same area?
No, look, there's nothing to fear but fear itself in this marketplace. Just get on with the business of buying and selling. Most buyers are sellers and sellers are buyers. And of course, we're seeing more numbers coming into the market now. We had a big day of auctions today across the country, so more choice for buyers. And buyers have got a lot more power in the marketplace now, so swings and roundabouts.
Love a bit of Voltaire in the morning.
Yeah, hang in there.
Thank
Graham
you both.
Cook, Andrew Wilson, thank you for your time. We appreciate it this
Thank
morning.
you so much.
Well, we've all heard stories